Welcome back everyone to Lore of the Shadow, where we are on the morning after our little battle here at Herna, and it is time for us to find some tarnished jewelry that the whites may have dropped, and also any blades that they may have dropped, such as this. Now, what it's going to tell us, I have absolutely no idea. Though I am a lore master, so perhaps I could study them and find out something about them. And perhaps our friend from Gondor, or our friend from Rohan, or our friend from the Rangers might be able to help us. Oh, I guess he's not technically a ranger anymore. Well, I suppose there is that. But let's finish collecting everything and get back to them. Looks like I found enough swords and enough jewelry, right? Or is there anything else I need to find here, just in case there are more clues as to what went on? Hold on, what's this? A helmet. Very old helmet. The fallen arm of a white, forgotten during the battle, attacks me. Oh, hi! Oh. Well, that's what I get for asking my friend to return to the wilderness while I stayed in town. Now, let's bring the equipment back and find out if there's anything useful here. Where'd our Rohirrim friend go?
Even in the light of day, I find it hard to believe such things are possible.
This equipment is very old. Even in the light of day, it's hard to believe that such things are possible. Ancient terrors stalk the land once again, and the dead walk. While you were gone, I found a skull-shaped token buried in the dirt, a shallow grave of sorts, just beneath the topsoil. I think it was left here on purpose to draw these creatures hither. Ooh, that's a problem.
I share Meneldir's amazement, but I do not like it.
Let the dead sleep, and trouble not the living. I'm filled with disgust that such things can be. But where did Igfrit go? I thought she went with you, but she hasn't returned. Do you think she ran afoul with some among the whites that we may have missed? I don't know. I assumed that she was with you.
Boromir is right. I have not seen Egfrit since we came outside.
I thought that Igfrit went with you to collect the fallen items of the whites, but you say that you've not seen her? Perhaps she went back inside the inn? Well, I guess we could check. Alright, let's see if we can find Igfrit anywhere. Oh, the inn. Yes, this place! I don't see her in here anywhere. Maybe you'll know something?
The woman of Rohan? No, I haven't seen her since you all went outside.
Well, so much for that. Anyone else down here that might have seen her? Well, if he didn't see her, then it's unlikely anyone upstairs did. But just in case, no one? How about that Dunlin ding? Nope. Sorry about that. So, maybe somebody outside saw what happened to her? Yeah, let's go and check outside. Surely someone must have seen her. What is she up to? I hope she isn't trying to investigate the tomb all on her own or anything like that. That would be a problem. No one around here, looks like. Hey, how about Aberthal? Maybe he might know something. Well, no one down here. How about up here? Hello?
I hope I have not done wrong.
Oh, I hope I haven't done anything wrong. Ifrit, She told me not to give you this letter for a day or two, but if you've already know to expect it, I suppose there is no harm in having it early. I did not read it. She told me not to do so, and her expression was grim, and I took her for her word. I hope I've done anything wrong. Thank you. A letter from Siegfried. What does it say?
My friends, no, I cannot address you so, for our friendship was based upon a deception. I am sorry.
I'm sorry. My deception caused me great pain to write this, but I am left with no other choice. I could not forgive myself if I abandoned you without explanation, but leave you I must for Pinelore, Meadowdeer of the North, and Boromir of Gondor. My errand to the land is not what I told you. It is true that I was born in Faltham of the Northcrofts, and I hold the good of Rohan above all else. But my mission was not to seek the Dunedain. Theoden King is ill, that much is true. But there is no cure to be found for his ailment, neither in the Riddermark nor in the Dunedain's wilderness. He has grown weak, and has himself become a grave threat to the survival of Rohan. His people need a strong king, but he languishes in his sick bed. He has forgotten the strength he once possessed, and can no longer lead the people who cry out for him. In days past, perhaps, he would have ridden out to glory, to die in battle and stir the hearts of the Rohirrim, but no longer. It was with the wizard Saruman that I consoled on this, and he has long been a friend of Rohan, and he has confirmed that which I feared. It is the weakness of the blood that troubles Theoden, and it must run too in the blood of Theodred his heir. The wizard has much wisdom. For that he has lived to see many lifetimes, and he can see that which the rest of us fail to recognize. Rohan itself suffers from an illness. He will treat this illness with a difficult remedy. He has found numerous orcs, likely from their mountain strongholds, and prepares to send them against the kingdom. Though the crucible of testing, the mighty men of Rohan will prove who amongst them is strong enough to lead. I say men, but perhaps it will be a queen who proves to save Rohan of its peril. The old lineages are not enough. Even in all his wisdom, Saruman cannot see all. When Boromir of Gondor rode near Isengard, the wizard sought to learn what cause the son of Denethor had to depart his own land. Was Saruman's plan to save Rohan in jeopardy? He charged me to follow the son of Gondor north and to learn what purpose was behind the quest. I kept a day's journey behind him, out of sight in the empty lands, but always near enough to find his horse, until the crossing of the Grey Flood at Tharbad. That is where I encountered you, Meadowdeer and Pinelore. It was an act of desperation to join your band, but I feared that Boromir would escape my reach, and I would fail in my own quest. And yet I did fail. For in the brief time that we journeyed together, I came to understand what drove Boromir to this land, so far from his home. He traveled these many leagues at a dream's behest, for nothing so certain as the slimmest of hope that it might aid Gondor. So too it is with me and Rohan. Each of us would do the same for our own homeland. Even now, I try to excuse my treachery, as if I could avoid the judgment by not writing it down. There was more to my errand. Once I learned of Boromir's purpose, I was to slay him. I could not have done so in battle, for all my weapon skill, but one of these nights, while he slept, I might have managed it. But I will not. I go now to bring Saruman the knowledge that he craved. He will learn something from Boromir's dream, and it will need to be enough. I thought I could slay anyone if it meant saving my kingdom, but I was wrong. I will command Aberthal to give you this letter in a few days. I want you to know what I have done and not done, but I will not risk you stopping me. For Rohan, always. Ifrit. Ifrit. Oh boy. I think we got a problem.
What happened? Did you find Egfrith? Is she in some danger?
Maybe you better read this letter. This cannot be. This cannot be. Quickly, Melody cries. We must stop her from escaping to the southward road. Alright, let's go south then. That would be this way? And what will we find out there? Ah. Here is the south road out of Cardolan. Can we get beyond it? I see the print of hooves in the dirt. She must have stolen a horse in Herne and has already escaped into Minheriath. She's beyond our reach now. Saruman will learn what she has sought. That's not good.
I did not see it. I thought Egfrith was trustworthy. I did not see it.
Boromir speaks quietly, but you can hear the strain in his voice. I know what I must do. I hope it's not to kill us, that's for sure. Let's see. What do we do? Ooh, we've got a ring. I guess that'll do.
I began this journey alone, and I must finish it alone.
Alright, excuse me. I've got a bull here that's giving me trouble. Really? We had to hurry here. Alright. We had to hurry here before I could call one of my friends for the wilderness, right?
I began this journey alone, and I must finish it alone.
I have made up my mind. Igfrit's betrayal has opened my eyes to the sad truth that I can only rely upon myself. If the doom of Minas Tirith is truly at hand, I cannot risk casting aside the one chance to prevent it. I'm sorry. It's for the best that I journey on to the hidden vale of Imladris. Alone. I wish you both well. Use caution as you find yourself in the path of evil power that I felt in Osgiliath, the one that sent the dead against Herne. I take my leave of you, though it may leave my heart heavy. But I must. Farewell. Alright, so this gives us, now this is I think the end of book 2. Ooh, a sturdy silver inlaid staff. That is a significant, oh actually that's the beginning of the quest. But okay, at least I know what to select when I'm done with it, right? Well, what do you say about this? I wish it were otherwise, Boromir, but I respect your decision. Good luck to you on your journey, and I echo your words of caution. Pinelore, unless you two wish to leave me, I think that we should return to the east gate of Herne before we continue in search of my friend Narndir, who will be able to guide us to the chieftain of the Dunedain. Very well. Let's get back to the east gate. The east gate. What do we need over in this direction?
I have been thinking about Egfrith and about her lies.
We have already been through much, and more still lies ahead of us. I don't want there to be any deception between us. Secrets have a way of growing when they are left in the darkness. A friend of mine described them as like mushrooms, but less delicious. He was a hobbit, although yours is not the only folk who appreciate cooked mushrooms. But I'm stalling. Of course I am. I was born in Thordhad, a settlement of the Dunedain in the angle of Mithiliel, and I was one of that folk. I grew up playing in the woods and caves nearby, and when I came of age I swore the oath they all did, to protect the line of the king, as had been done for centuries, and to do as the chieftain of the Dunedain and his trusted lieutenants commanded in all things. I failed in this, Pine Lore. I was commanded to keep watch on a certain house, for it was feared that the trolls had come down from the mountains and might endanger the folk who lived there. I let my watchfulness lapse, and on an overcast day the trolls moved much further than anyone had expected, and the family was slain. I had broken my oath, and they suffered the consequences of my failure. I had not considered myself a Dunedain since that day. Narndir and a few others promised to speak on my behalf to the chieftain, but my own shame burned like fire, and I fled. I would not return to these lands until our warning was dire, and it is. So, now you know, Pine Lore. Judge me as you will, but the lesson of Ygfrith has shown me that it is better that you know. And now I get my staff.
We can stay on the Greenway for another day's travel.
Yep, now we're at Book 3. We can stay on the Greenway for another day's travel before we reach the ruins at which Narndir makes his camp. Our warning that Saruman has betrayed the good folk of Middle-earth must reach the chieftain of the Dunedain, and Narndir will know where he can be found. It will not be a pleasing reunion for me, but it must be done. The road leaves Herne from the eastern side and circles around to the north, and that is the way that we should go. Alright, so travel north along the Greenway into the direction of Breland. I suppose that makes sense. But also makes sense is that I upgrade my staff so that I'll be better prepared for whatever comes ahead. Middledeer's worried about something.
I feel eyes upon us.
Someone watches us, and I am put in mind of what Ygfrith wrote, that she tracked Boromir for many days as she journeyed across the empty lands. No, I don't think she's returned to plague our steps. She was intent on reaching Saruman with what she had learned of Boromir when she left us, but this might be another spy. See what you can find nearby, my friend. Perhaps some clue will identify this unseen watcher. Fine, let us see who these spies may be. I suspect that he is not speaking of these bulls. Actually, with all this around... Oh, hold on, what's this? Kraban feathers? Oh-ho! Well, that's a bit of a problem. Especially considering that I forgot that I'm not high enough level yet to have Lightning Storm. Oh well. There you go. Oh, where'd he go? Northwest? Alright, let's go find him. The spies turn out to be some crows. Fortunately, I have a friendly eagle here to help us.
No. What cruel jest is this?
Oh, what? This is somebody you know? Yes, this is the man that we seek, Pine Lore. This is Narndir. Oh, bother. Very well.
I don't understand it.
Well, we seem to have enemies around, that's what I think. Yes, we are still some days' travel from the camp where Narndir made his home, studying the ruins of Cardolan. He was always writing in the journal of his, documenting the details of artifacts and architecture that he found worthy of note. We used to gather pigments together, he and I, as children in the Angle, for even then he exhausted such quantities of ink that he was always running out. Narndir. Can I ask you to examine the body, Pinelore? I can't bring myself to do it, but we must know the manner of his death. Alright. It appears that Narndir has been found dead for a number of days. He suffered several sword strokes in the back, and from the impressions of the dirt around his body, it appears that he was ridden down by someone on horseback as he fled. Running away from someone on horseback. Those dark riders, maybe?
I don't understand it. Nandir should not have been here at all.
What brought Nandir so far from his usual dwelling place, and who would intend to harm him at all? Furthermore, he was no coward. To what foe would he turn his back? Aye, Pinelore, we know that answer already. The creeping shadows Aberthal saw that night in Herne, one who sat astride a great black horse. I named the creatures once, and now I do so again. Nazgul. Such a foe would inspire fear in even the stoutest of the Dunedain, and such a foe might even ride down a fleeing man to slay him with a sword stroke in the back. It would be as nothing to such a creature. Sarn Ford is to the west of here, and it seems that might be the site from which Narndir fled. There have been a few rangers at the ford there, though never in great numbers. I think that we should divert our course to Sarn Ford and learn what might have befallen its defenders. Very well. Sarn Ford. That would be to the south. We'll have to find that out in the next episode of Lore of the Shadow.